Hi there, Malcolm here with my 253rd Booktube video, and today I'll be bringing you a review for The Still Small Voice of Trumpets by Lloyd Biggle Jr. And take a moment to appreciate this weird artwork that has almost nothing to do with the contents of this story, apart from the existence of trumpets. Lloyd Biggle Jr. is arguably one of my favourite science fiction authors. His Jan Darzek series with All the Colours of Darkness and Watchers of the Dark are easily my favourite books of all time. And this was one I hadn't read, so I was really excited to read this one. The basic premise is humanity is expanding across the stars, and when they come across a planet that is inhabited, they will attempt to bring it into the fold, as it were, but under the planet's own steam. The Interplanetary Relations Bureau has one basic rule: democracy imposed from without is the severest form of tyranny. So they want them to have democracy, they want them to be part of the galactic conglomerate, whatever they call themselves, but on their terms. They want it to be their decision, but they have to enforce democracy on them by destabilising the planet so that they will get rid of whichever tyrannical emperor is in place and have a democracy, and then dealings can be then made with this planet. And the land of Kerr has for 400 years withstood any attempts to subvert the kingdom, to undermine the king's authority, despite the fact he's a bit of a dick. But he's not too much of a dick that the people will rise up against him, and in desperation they send in a cultural survey officer in instead. They've tried the politics, they've tried various other means, but the people of this planet are very culturally sensitive. They love art, they love music, they're very creative, they love beautiful things. So they send in Officer Forzon to go and try and look at the problem from a fresh angle. And as soon as he arrives, he's in a spot of bother because there's wheelings and dealings within his own people, and he soon finds himself out in the field, completely in the wrong disguise, running for his life. And the story really takes a very interesting angle of looking at the culture of a people. Think Grand Admiral Thrawn from the Star Wars, where he appreciates a species' art so he can defeat that species. Same sort of logic here, where he really appreciates the construction, the paintings and the music that's being created, but can he use that knowledge to undermine the king's authority and create a rebellion? This was fantastic. This one, there was no question of what was going on. It was very clear cut, but with loads of machinations and double dealings and backstabbing from various angles, as this man is thrust into an apparently impossible situation. And the resolution was just perfection. I was so impressed with it. I won't give it away because of spoilers, but it was one of my favourite resolutions, really. I found the character of Forzon quite likeable. You know, he's very good at what he does, but he's obviously thrust into a situation where his skill set was perhaps not as useful in the situation he was in. Yes, you can appreciate art, but when you've got people shooting at you, that's not quite so helpful. And he does encounter a female agent called Anne, who, because it's the 1960s, had a very interesting role in this book. She was a very competent and brilliant agent. However, some of the attitudes towards her by the characters in the story were perhaps something that was best left in the 60s. But at the same time, I do feel that Lloyd was quite progressive with making her character a lot more developed than other female characters in similar stories from that era, or even more recently. But there was a sort of romance thrust into it. It wasn't overplayed, but it was very, not exactly out of nowhere, but clumsily done, I thought. It's the first semblance of romance I've seen in any of Lloyd Biggle Jr.'s works, and I can see why he's avoided touching it, to be honest. But that being said, I thought Anne was a very interesting character as well. You know, there was a case of could you trust her, which went to the same for all the other agents that he encountered. Yeah, someone's doing sneaky stuff. Yeah, really enjoyable story, very satisfying ending, and yeah, booktastic. So, have you read The Still Small Voice of Trumpets? Do you pick up books because of their amazingly weird cover art, or are there authors who are an auto-buy for you? Lloyd Biggle Jr. is clearly one of mine. And apparently this is based on a short story which first appeared in Analog magazine. Might have to find that. On the off chance you have read any, what's your favourite Lloyd Biggle Jr. novel? Mine is still Watchers of the Dark. Best book ever written, ever, in my opinion. Comments down below, please, but as usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and other YouTubey things, and until next time, see you later.